What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Jake from Citizen JV, and today I'm going to be talking about the System Shock 2 Enhanced Remastered Edition, basically the 25th year anniversary of this game, coming out June 26th of this month. It's not too far away. It's like maybe about a week or two away, but either or, I really want to talk about this game. I remember playing this game back in the day, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the remake. I finished that one from 2 years ago that we initially launched on console as well. And it was just so good. It was so good. Now, I think when it comes to System Shock 2, for me, this is where I really appreciate Night Dive Studios. They know what they're doing. I love their game preservation. I love the way how they remastered certain types of said games when it comes to System Shock 2, or the remake of System Shock, or remastering Quake 1 and 2. They even did it for Doom 64 for consoles for the very first time. And they know what they're doing. I have nothing but the utmost respect for Night Dive Studios. Now, and I'm not kissing anybody's ass either, it's the truth. So, point being, I think when it comes to remasters, other than remakes, Night Dive Studios, they're just the best. They really, really are. They know what they're doing, and vice versa. And I love the fact that they're finally bringing a game that was only PC-eccentric exclusive, which was System Shock, the very first one before it came to consoles, and a remake. And then bringing System Shock 2 as a 25th anniversary remaster to consoles as well. This is the first time that this game is coming to consoles. And so what I'm saying is that I think Night Dive Studios, I can't recall of what's one of the worst games that they could possibly ever made. I don't think I can really ever think about any, honestly. And for me, though, I love these types of games. You know, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Prey 2017, which I absolutely fell in love with that game in the first place when it first came out, and I played through the demo of that. But point being, System Shock 2. This game does a really good job of its environmental storytelling, its atmosphere, just the way what you can do in this game and vice versa. It's so good. And so I think that's the reason why I like these types of games, is because they are known as immersive sims. And when it comes to immersive sims, like opposite that of Prey 2017 or Dishonored or System Shock or System Shock 2, I really think that these games really do give us the potential of getting more possible remasters from these guys, because, like I said, they know what they're doing. They have so much passion and so much drive. And so I really think when it comes to System Shock 2, because I will say, this is a big deal. Even though a lot of people might not like remasters very much, like I do, I love remasters because it really gives us the idea and basically the identity of the game itself. Every single game coming from Night Dive Studios in a remastered format, it has its identity. And when it comes to that identity, though, it goes into our brains and realize that we need to learn to appreciate these games. We need to learn to appreciate a company like Night Dive Studios that gives us not the propriety of these games, but it's the fact that these games just give us not always what we want when it comes to remasters, but I think System Shock 2 is really going to give us the idea that, there's nothing wrong with remasters. Now, granted, we sometimes don't always need remasters with current games that we have today, granted. But again, I think when it comes to old school games like System Shock 2, or like Quake, or Quake 2, or Doom 64, we still can play those games on a PC or on a certain type of console that it's on. But at the same time, you kind of feel like, well, do I really want to play this because this game looks so bad? It still has its flaws. It still has its nostalgia. But at the same time, it's just not going to play as well or as good. And that's what I'm saying about remasters, though. Remasters are not always going to be full remasters, But sometimes in remasters, I would say, for what I've understand with System Shock 2 here, is that they are going to incorporate certain types of things that were not incorporated in the original game. And I can't recall what they are going to incorporate, but for what I understand, I think they incorporated a better UI system, user interface. They were able to do certain things within the remaster to make it much more fluid in a way, and I think that's a really good thing. That's one thing I do know about remasters, is that they are able to add certain things rather than, like, I wouldn't say not in remakes, because in remakes they can basically include everything of what they want to include from its original format of the game back in the day, and that's what I love about remakes though too. But when it comes to remasters, I think when it comes to System Shock 2, for the gameplay reveal that we got through IGN or through game trailers, I've watched it all the way through, and I'm going to tell you, I'm impressed with this, ladies and gentlemen. I am really impressed with this, because like I said again, remasters are not always going to be the best course of action when it comes to a game like this. I did see some comments on, I believe it was like through IGN's YouTube channel, and people are saying that, I forgot what it was exactly, but I think they were saying that this should have been a remake rather than a remaster. I'm going to say something about this, just a little bit. I disagree. I do disagree, because like I said again, remakes take so much longer than remasters do. Now, I really can't say what the time allotment or the time frame is between making a remake rather than a remaster, and I'm not in the gaming industry, I'm not. It's just that I like to point out my own personal opinions, or what I think what possibly makes a remake or a remaster better towards the difference of each other. And to me personally, like I said, remasters, I think when it comes to this game specifically, I think this was a better option, because, you know, with the remake of the original System Shock that they were able to do 2 years ago for consoles and for PC, I really think that maybe it's a possibility. Maybe this remaster for System Shock 2 is probably going to give us the better benefit of replaying this game as an old school nostalgic RPG game as it is. But when it comes to nostalgia, when it comes to game preservation, I think this remaster for System Shock 2 is really going to benefit of giving us the idea that this game is important. It's important to know that game preservation, it does matter. Even though some people might say it doesn't, but in a way it does matter. It matters to me, because I'm an old school gamer. I do like the games that we do have today. I love them. They're fantastic. Amongst, I would say the Silent Hill 2 remake from last year. I love that game. It's a remake from its original vision on the PS2. But again, I think when it comes to game preservation, in my own perception or opinion on this, is that, like I said, it matters to me. Because I think when it comes to game preservation and the nostalgia, it should matter to certain types of people. It matters to certain types of gamers out there that learn to appreciate old school games coming in a remastered format rather than just a remake. Now, again, remakes are not always going to be the best benefit of making or remaking a game, much like Silent Hill 2, for example. The reason why they remade that game is because the game on PS2 was an old school game. And they said, well, I believe that Bloober team that made the remake for Silent Hill 2, I believe the reason why they remade that game from the ground up using Unreal Engine 5 is because they know how important that game was. It's the same thing with Night Dive Studios. It's no different. And so that is one thing in mind. One word in mind. Passion. Passion is the driving force when it comes to nostalgia and game preservation. So one thing I will talk about here one more time, and in final, overall, I think when it comes to remasters, remakes, This game is going to give us the idea of where we want to go to further the remasters of old school games like System Shock 2. I really think that this game, not just as a remaster, but it will give us the idea, the identity of the game, and where remasters could go full force in the not too distant future. And opposite that of remakes, because I think remakes do have a good unique place as well. I mean, like I said again, it's all about drive or driven passion, and that's where I said the Silent Hill 2 remake is one of my favorite remakes of all time, opposite that of Dead Space or Resident Evil 2 or Resident Evil 3. Now, by all means, I will say I love those remakes as well, but I would say opposite that from, Silent Hill 2 remake, and not really comparing it to Dead Space remake or RE2 or RE3 remake, they're all magnificent games. I loved all of them. They were just so fantastic. But I think when it came to Silent Hill 2 remake, though, I never played the original Silent Hill 2. Yeah, you heard me correctly. And so that's the reason why I loved Silent Hill 2 remake so much, is because it was a game I never played back on PS2. And that's where, for me, I'm like, this is a really good experience. That's what I'm saying about remasters as well. When it comes to a game like Silent Hill 2, like I have played back in the day, but I can't even remember of how long ago it was. It was like many years ago, and I'm just like, I don't remember this game at all. I don't. And so I'm saying that's where I feel like that, trying to be able to play this game very, very soon, I'm just like, I feel like I'm going to get the same exact experience that I got from the Silent Hill 2 remake. And I can't wait for that experience. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I will say, I thank you all for giving me the opportunity to create the most quality of content that I can ever provide for anyone to watch, whether it's my live streams or my commentaries. And I thank you all for really appreciating me, giving me the opportunity to have a voice here, and it's been one hell of a ride. And so all I can say is this, ladies and gentlemen, you guys have been fantastic. You guys have a good rest of your weekend. Happy Father's Day to all out there around the world. This is Jake from Citizen JV, and you guys have a good rest of your weekend. Peace, guys.